Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Photographic Memory Podcast. And I'm excited to welcome to the program Dr. Shannon Panzo. Dr. Shannon, how are you?
Oh, I'm just doing great. Another
Awesome.
great day here in Australia.
Fantastic. Hey, I tell you, it's a cold day here in Pittsburgh. But, we wanted to kind of, before we go into a little bit of a summary, Dr. Shannon is a brain management expert, a photographic memory expert, and also the ZOX Pro Method, plus also does mentoring. So, multiple different things that Dr. Shannon does. So, make sure you go to ZOXPro.com to learn more information. But so far, in the first three episodes, we learned a lot about photographic memory, especially the beginning phases of it, understanding specifically enough what is photographic memory, leading to what mental photography is, then to many different benefits. Is not true, Dr. Shannon?
Okay, thanks. Uh, well, let's start with photographic memory. Uh, what I'll do is just review a few things so that we can catch. If you're just new to this program, you can catch up a little bit in a very quick way before you go back and review uh, the other podcast. Now, the photographic memory first starts as the eidetic memory. The eidetic memory is something that you're born with. It acts on all sensory levels: seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, feeling. And this is what you are born with. It's completely natural. And this is actually the thing that makes you human. This is where you learn the most complex things that there are to learn in life. So it's very important that you understand that you have that you have the eidetic memory, that you actually are born with it. It's completely natural, and that you carry it on in life. You never lose it. Now, along the way, it was decided that the eidetic memory was not something that was easily said. So it then became called the photographic memory. The photographic memory is exactly the same thing as the eidetic memory, even though photographic obviously suggests that this is on a visual level. Well, it is actually still on all sensory levels at the same time. So you can still appreciate all the different things that the photographic memory actually gives you. Now, your photographic memory is the holy grail of your brain development. This is one thing that you can do for yourself if you're exercising the photographic memory. It's one thing that you can do to amplify everything that you're doing in life, make everything easier, faster, better. And that's really important if you're able to exercise your photographic memory. Most people that carry forward the photographic memory into their adult life tend to hide it because they don't like being challenged all the time from people that have not brought it forward in life. Now, simply because you've gone through the process of learning how to read, in order to learn how to read, they teach you 180 degrees away from the photographic memory. They tell us we must put aside this infantile way of learning in order to learn reading. Well, that's the easiest way to turn us over to reading. But this is also the reason why your 5-year-old genius has a year or two in school and suddenly they're no longer genius, they're quite dumb. And this is the reason behind all this. So it's very important that you do things to reactivate and recapture the photographic memory in your life. Does that make some sense to you?
It makes complete sense because, again, the fact is, it starts out, people are born with the photographic memory, but yet they go to school and they learn different method, and then they no longer can use the photographic memory.
Right. There are a few people that do carry it over. These typically are rebels in the school system. The school system didn't work for them, so they decide to do their own thing and they carry it forward. And thus, they become a lot better, a lot easier with information. These are the people that don't have to study. They simply get straight A's and go through life that way. It's great. But again, these are people that have carried it over. Most people have gotten away from it. Probably 95% of the people have gotten away from it. So what we have to do is we have to learn how to how to learn it again, how to initiate it, how to make it a part of our life. Now, what I teach is mental photography. Mental photography is the way to use your photographic memory to take in large volumes of information. Now, because you're actually going and exercising your photographic memory, this is great because not only do you have a really good skill to gain because you're gaining information, but you're gaining information at a very rapid pace. You're gaining information starting at 25,000 to 50,000 words per minute. Now, your average reading speed is usually around 250 words per minute. So you're looking at least 100 to 200 times your average reading speed. That's where this starts. And while whenever you have reading, you actually maintain or retain only about 5% of the information that you've actually read. So you feel like you've read it, but you really
Right.
haven't gotten it. Whenever you mentally photograph, you get 100% of the material. It is stored in your long-term memory and you retain it and have access to it the rest of your life. We just need to encourage you to do this enough to have full access to doing the recall of the information. Okay. Does that sound like something that you would like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that because I mean, if I could go ahead and read different things on digital marketing and figured out certain strategies and I don't have to listen to trainings that are slow and boring and methodical, wow, I could go ahead and be the genius on stage on Clubhouse anywhere. So, yeah, it seems like something if you could be able to read 200 times as the speed and read as many things as possible. If you find where those things are at, it's much easier to do than going ahead and listening to a training where you'll gain some of the knowledge base, but most of it you already know.
It's actually a different brain function than reading. So that's one of the big separations between the two. But that's okay. Because you're born with it, you can actually gain it back. That's really great. Now, the mental photography, it does some other unusual things as well. Not only is it a great brain exercise, it's the greatest brain exercise in the world. It it does a lot for you in the ways of your intellect because not only are you getting the information, but along with that information, because it's such an intense skill, along with that information, you're also getting the knowledge and wisdom that comes along with that information. Usually, usually you go through life and you do something to gain some information. As you continue to gain information, it eventually turns into knowledge. And after quite a bit of usage of that knowledge, you gain various levels of wisdom with that knowledge. Now, if you can gain all those things all at the same time, well, that's a bit different. And that's what the mental photography does for you. This is literally applied quantum physics. We're using the actual vibration, the frequency of the information. That is actually what's going over into your long-term memory to make the big difference.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
so we put this under a big umbrella called brain management.
Okay.
And brain management is actually more about the whole process. See, if there is a magical key that is here, the magical key is the mental photography, because this is the one thing that you need to make everything else work. But there are other things to make it work better. And these are the other exercises that we have in ZOXPro.
So
Now,
it's not just
go
photographic
ahead.
memory, mental photography, it's much more than that in ZOXPro.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is the photographic memory, But by using the photographic memory, it gives you a lot of other abilities. And that's brain management. If I'll give you an example. When it comes to decision making is paramount to everything that you do in life. So if you start with poor information or lack of information, whenever you go to make decisions, what are your decisions going to come out like?
Or
They're going to be poor. They're not going to be good decisions. Or you just might luck out and get it right. And so you got a great decision. Okay, you lucked out. But most of your decisions will be poor because you don't have enough information. Everything that you do, every advancement that you make, whether it be personal, business, it doesn't matter. They all take various levels of information. If you have the ability to take in huge amounts of great information, superior information than your peers, you will do much better because you'll have all that at hand, all that accessibility to base your decisions upon. So if you have superior information to start with, what are your decisions going to result in?
very good decisions. That when you
Very
make
good
good
decisions.
decisions, you end up a better life, more happiness, and more success.
Right. So using your photographic memory is the key to your successes in life. So we've kind of brought that all around, but the brain management is the other thing that we take a look at the other exercises as well. So it's not just the photographic memory. Now the exercises that we use that encourage the photographic memory, everything works as a synchronistic system. Let me explain that. If you have each individual exercise has its own value. And if you take those exercises and you stage them independently of each other, they will have their own value. But whenever you have all these particular exercises together, and there's not many, this is what makes it simple and easy to use. But whenever you have these exercises along with the mental photography,
Right.
they're synchronistic. They compound themselves hundreds of times over for you to get results. So if a person just comes in and says, "Oh, I just want the mental photography and that's all I need," wrong way. If you use the other exercises with it, then what's going to happen? You're going to reach your results a lot quicker, a lot easier. This is going to impact your life, make your life easier, more eventful. Sure, we all have lessons to learn, but this gives you the insights as to how to how to actually get involved in using your lessons and how to gain from them.
Makes complete sense. We've summarized a lot, but we've talked about it, and we didn't talk about the benefits, like we said in the last first three episodes. But we really now are going down to the full circle to brain management. Once you learn mental photography, it's time for the brain management parts of the exercises, so you can manage the decisions you make in every day and be able to use your brain the correct way, not the way where we don't utilize our entire capacities of our brain, it sounds like.
Very good. You're catching on. Okay. Let's just talk about one of the exercises. One of the exercises is our eye chart. Now, the eye chart, it seems to most people to be very innocuous. It's
Right.
not that hard to do. It's there. It can be rather boring, but the things that this one thing does is absolutely amazing. The eye chart drill expands your peripheral vision. Whenever you're expanding your peripheral vision, if you're not wearing glasses, you can expand your peripheral vision up to 230 degrees. If you are
Wow.
wearing glasses, 180 degrees, but that's usually quite wider than what most people experience.
Okay.
Most people today are experiencing tunnel vision. They're looking at their computer, they're looking at their TV, and they go from one to the other and they zone in on those things and they actually stop experiencing the world around them. So it's very important that you start experiencing your world. It's it's great. Now, the peripheral vision, whenever you expand your peripheral vision on a physical level, it actually has a boomerang that goes into your mental system as well. In other words, this is actually what is called a kinesthetic event, where whenever you do things on a physical level, you have a mental change that happens as well. This expands your awareness and perception 7 to 10 times what you normally experience. So your awareness of things happening around you and even your awareness of yourself will expand. Your perception of the world around you will change to accommodate your new vision. You'll start seeing the world in a different light. You'll start seeing the truth. Too many people have had the wool pulled over their eyes. It's time to take that wool off and see the world for what it really is.
Wow.
So yes, there's a lot to gain here. Now, when it comes to a practical way of looking at this, if you have a martial artist and that martial artist wants to really become good at what they do, they will actually take various steps to open up their peripheral vision. And there's plenty of exercises out there. We have ours, other people have theirs, but you want to expand your peripheral vision because not only will you be able to see physically a wider view,
Right.
but you also gain the perception and the awareness around you 360 degrees so that you can anticipate things happening around you. This is especially important for people that are in emergency careers, such as firemen,
Right.
military, police. They need this. They need to learn this, to learn how to be aware of their situation, to be aware of their surroundings, because this is what ultimately could save their life. I have some personal experience along that line as well, and I'll tell you about that at some other time. But really, when it comes to the awareness and perception, that is really, it's really important for you. Now, this is also going to lead you to understand more about what we're constantly bombarded with every day. We have subliminal messages that come to us from all different sorts of things.
Right.
These subliminal messages, we can just start. We can just start talking about subliminal advertising. You walk into a store, you're not hit with one or two of them. You're hit with thousands and tens of thousands of subliminal advertisings whenever you hit the store. Why do they call them subliminal? Because you don't know it's happening. How does it actually
Exactly.
happen? The subliminal ads and subliminal messages actually use the same channel as your photographic memory. They're abusing you without your knowledge. You can take, because of this program, you can take control of how you react and how you deal with subliminal ads, subliminal messages, and those types of things. You can eliminate them.
Right.
And this will again change your perception of everything going on around you. This is a great truth detector. You start to see the real world instead of the world that has been flavored and tainted by others. That basically making you the greatest independent thinker that you've found. Now you become that independent thinker.
So the way that really Dr. Shannon to go right now is ZOXPro.com if you want to get started today.
Oh, absolutely. ZOXPro.com is this is our distilled down version of giving you results. And that's what it's all about. Does it take a little bit of time and effort? You bet. But what what a value doesn't? So again, it's well worth the adventure. It's well worth the techniques. It's easy to learn. It's not hard. It's just a matter of you doing it. So yeah, the results can be astronomical.
Well, awesome. Again, a great episode today. Dr. Shannon, everyone can go to ZOXPro.com for more information. Check out all your different social media channels as well. You're all over the place, and people need to start today for sure. And really, we've summarized a lot in 4 episodes, but I think everyone is excited to get started now.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, that was the Photographic Memory Podcast. Take care.